ask one question?
Yes, Sakesh.
So Satish, whatever we have discussed so far, it's all about how to use the tools, right, which are already available. Is there anyone or maybe you, Satish, who is learning or participating in developing them, any kind of LLM or something?
Hmm.
Is there anyone, or maybe you, if you are learning, could you please share your experience in developing the LLM?
Developing, let's figure out. I'm not, at least I'm making use of the existing things, the prompting or the scenarios, but I'm not developing anything from my side yet. But yes, maybe we can post that question in the groups community, Sakir. Let's see. We can plan a session on that. How we can develop our own the agents or the tools, or how we can make use of that.
Yeah, definitely. That will be helpful.
Sure,
Thanks.
sure thing. Yes, can do that. Yes. Okay. Yes. Over to you, Nirmala and Shreya. Let's get started with the working agreements.
Yeah. So welcome everyone to today's call. We have after being huge gap, we were starting that again. So and taking your time for this busy weekend to spending some more time with us, it's really helpful and get into this collaboration. So yeah, so we were having the agenda of taking one question at a time. Like we'll spend all the questions with like some time brackets. If that is getting extended, we'll take some more. But it's really required some everyone's to be more contribute in each and every one in each and every question. So we'll have more useful and some more ideas about that part. Yeah. So shall we move Satish to the question side?
Sure thing, Shreya. So before that, uh, there are few questions we already captured or we already received as part of the participants' registrations. So we already captured within the tool, the AHA slides. So we can first focus for the priorities to go through those questions. And this is not we as a facilitators will be discussing. The forum is open for all of us. Start sharing your thoughts, your perspectives for that. And we are just the facilitators here for today. Right. And the point is like, let's figure out 15 minutes per question. And if we feel we are going too much into any specific topic, let's shout out Elmo. Enough, let's move on so that we can go to the next question or the next topic. Yes. So here are the questions. Yes, Manoj.
Hi, sir. Hello, everyone. I'm Manoj. I'm
Yes,
working
Manoj.
as a Scrum Master in an MNC as well. My question is, what is the role of a non-technical Scrum Master in the future? Like, let even if we agree or not, I think there is a clear what do I say, bias towards the technical people who have worked as software engineers or developers, and uh, how is it going to be? How what do you think? Does it exist, or is it just my imagination? I'd just like it to get cleared.
So maybe Satish, we can open the floor and let's hear
Yes,
it from the group. Then you can add on your inputs
definitely, definitely. I am not
because
going to
this is
add.
quite
I'm not going to add.
interesting. This is something very interesting questions. For sure, most of the group should be able to contribute with their experiences. Someone raised their hand.
I
Maybe
think
you can.
Idris has raised.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys. Thank you. My name is Idris. I'm calling from Manchester, UK. So again, so I think, is there anything like a technical Scrum Master or a non-technical Scrum Master? So a Scrum Master is a coach. So as a coach, again, do you need to know? Do you need to know how to code? Do you need to know what the developers are doing? I mean, you don't want to interfere in what they're doing as well. So as a coach, you are meant to coach the team into making sure that they are doing the right thing. I think without being too much on the Scrum Guide, the Scrum Guide says the Scrum Master is about the effectiveness of the Scrum team. So you don't need to know exactly how to write a code. You don't need to know how to do the test or anything to be a successful Scrum Master. Yes, it is good if you have a knowledge of what they're working on. I think even you're better off knowing more about the products than actually knowing everything too technical. And again, you have your co-pilot and everything nowadays. So you could use the co-pilot as your co-scrum master or co-teammate, and it will help you sort so many things out. Thank you.
Yeah, this is Mandeep here. I think I follow what Idris has said. Very well said, I think. And I think it goes on the same line actually, right? So for a Scrum Master, what I believe, you actually have to understand how the team is running, the team dynamics basically, right? So technical can be a good background. If somebody has to really need to know, it is on their skill to understand the technicalities. However, being a Scrum Master, you actually have to make it sure that the things that the team is delivering is on time, the team dynamics is on, the agreed delivery is on time, right? Likewise, so these are some things that you have to actually, like being a Scrum Master, things has to be taken care. However, when in case of technicalities, right, I would say, let's say, me being a non-technical Scrum Master, I would rely on my technical people to help me understand what is what, right? So even though I'm not aware of it, however, I can get a help from the people who are actually supposed to answer on the technicalities, and we can take decision right based on the same lines, right? So I would say technical, non-technical Scrum Master does not exist. It is a Scrum Master. You actually have to play a role. A certain set of guidelines are there that we have to follow, and we can play along, right? And decisioning is somewhere where we might need a technical background of, and I would say we can rely on our team members to help us with the complexity of a technical problem and take notes accordingly, right? So that is my say. I would say that. Yeah.
I think I'll go next. Let me share my perspective. I hope I'm audible, right?
Yes, Sandeep.
Yes. Yes.
Ah, yeah. The first, maybe I would like to emphasize purely from the Scrum Guide perspective, which is more to do with the aspects which Idris called out, which is about coaching, making a team high performing team, right? So if you really talk about a Scrum Guide and the kind of role expectations that we have from the Scrum Master role, I would say maybe not having a technical expertise will be having more advantage than having a person with a strong technical background, right? But there is no one answer for it. Both has its own pros and cons, right? It purely depends on the context in which basically you are operating, right? Because again, from my perspective, I would always say that a good Scrum Master is somebody who make or who thinks about how can he make his role redundant for the team. Right? I look at a Scrum Master role from that particular perspective because I strongly feel that a person with one particular team for 1 year, 2 years, once that the team is going to reach to that particular stage, better to have a different Scrum Master who can bring in a new perspective into the team, right? So that's the way that I look at it. So yeah, for me, a Scrum Master is someone who has to see how he can make himself redundant for the team. And technical and non-technical, as I said, it has its own pros and cons, which you might have to evaluate based on the need of the team. But yeah, purely from Scrum Guide perspective, I would say not having a technical background will be having more added advantage.
Yeah, really very inputful questions and answers is there. So, in terms of that perspective, I also want to say something regarding technical and non-technical part. My perspective is all about if anything you have knowledge about the product, then it will be really helpful. It's not been a part of technical or non-technical, but if you have a more understanding of the product, how the product is working, what is the outcome of that product, and in terms of the business perspective where it is going, so I think so that will be more give you enhance in your position and give you the more masala in your job, in simple terms. Because scrum master is having kind of the redundant work also sometime, but if you're exploring in that the product side, so you will go means it means able to understand what exactly this is happening, or and what about this all over things were rolling off. So yeah.
I see Vardhan also raised his hand. So please
Yeah,
go ahead, Vardhan.
yes, yes, Nirmala, thank you. So, while I agree to most of the points, right, like all of them actually, uh, what exactly are the organizations looking at is what matters, right? See, I might, as far as the Scrum Guide is concerned, it says clearly that the technical expertise is not required. Expertise is not required, but the basic understanding might be required there. But technical in-depth or not required is what Scrum Guide says. But what are the organizations looking at? I believe they are looking for in-depth knowledge itself, so that But like the other gentleman was mentioning, Sandeep, I guess, um, there are pros and cons to both. Like if a person is technically expert, he would jump into giving solutions to the team instead of letting the team um, come to a solution, agree, discuss, and come to a solution. This person might jump and give them the solution. There are pros and cons. So, but ultimately, the question that comes to my mind is how are the organizations looking at it? So I see that they're looking for technical expertise as well. People can add it. Thank you.
I see
I'll
Sharad
just
and
add to
Manoj
that
raised
particular
hand.
point. Yeah, I'll just add to that particular point. Organizations, why they are looking at, right? That's an interesting question, at least from my perspective, right? Because I strongly feel that fundamentally, still, the understanding of Scrum and the role of Scrum Master is still non-existent, irrespective of how many coaches are working with organizations. But still, understanding of the role itself is the clarity is not there, right? And people who are writing job descriptions are different from who actually understand the roles and writes the job descriptions, right? So yeah, so my perspective is fundamentally the understanding of the role is what the biggest reasons why you would see a lot of variations in how a JD is written for a Scrum Master.
Thank you, Sandeep, for
Hey,
adding your. Yeah, go ahead, Sharad.
yeah, uh, thanks, Nirmala. So let me share my couple of thoughts, right? Over the period of time, the demand versus supply for Scrum Masters and Agile coaches is changing rapidly, right? As of today, to my knowledge, there is more supply than demand, right? And it is going in a competitive way, right? And as far as the budgets are also concerned, they are also very competitive when it comes to the organization for different products or projects that they are working on. So what companies are looking for is more from the T-shaped skills from the Scrum Masters as well as coaches instead of the I-shaped skills, right? Where I-shaped skill demand only what a Scrum Master has to do or what a coach can do, which we are already aware who are there in this group, right? But T-shaped skills, how we can be able to nudge ourselves from time to time and see how we can be able to create value, right? Ultimately, it boils down to value, then value to defining your KPIs, KRAs, and see how you can be able to achieve at the end of the year, based on which they will decide whether you are a right fit to continue for the upcoming years or not, right? To be blunt, this is how organizations are functioning, right? So in this competitive atmosphere, if you are tying up yourself only to the I-shaped skills, where I can be only be a scrum master, maybe a functional scrum master catering to certain responsibilities, it won't help you out, right? You need to come out of that cocoon and see how you can improve your skills in terms of product level understanding, in terms of technical understanding, right? And people are, we discussed first 15 minutes about AI, right? Understanding the AI and how you can implement it, at least at the basic level in terms of ceremonies. Someone is talking about if you are implementing AI in planning session, how you are going to bring value. Earlier, planning used to take 1 hour for you. Now it might take 10 minutes for you. You are almost saving 50 minutes. 50 minutes into some X number of days. These are the number of you are saving hours you are saving for your organization. This is how you have to bring or show that value to the organization, so they will get that confidence in you and see how they can leverage you for the upcoming years. So compared to other people, I differ a little bit in terms of how a scrum master and agile coach has to function. You need to be multi-talented, and that is the need of the hour. It is pretty clear. People who want to satisfy themselves with the I-shaped skills will know they will be facing trouble soon. These are my 2 cents.
Thank you so much, Sharath. I second your points. Irrespective of technical or non-technical, it all depends on whether you are creating the value to the role, whatever you are. So it all depends on that context. Maybe Satish, can we see the questions related to the similar one? Because technical depth required for Scrum Master, about Scrum process, and there is like what is the role of non-technical Scrum Master in the future? And there's like about Scrum processes and major role. And I see like repetitive questions. If anything related to the same, we can have this conversation.
No, I tried
On
to club the questions already, Nirmala, to the possible extent. So these are the questions, the 2 questions related to the technical versus non-technical.
So then, if you all are good, maybe we can move on to the next question, because we could see a good number of questions in the list. Okay. So about Scrum processes and major roles also, anything specific someone wants to cover, or in case if whoever posted this question, if you are in the call, maybe you can elaborate for better understanding. Okay, so Satish, Sharath, do you have anything on this point about Scrum processes and major role? Because it's somehow related to the earlier conversation.
Exactly. So I'm not pretty sure what's the expectation or the context of this question. So the major roles within Scrum, we all know that Scrum Master, Product Owner in the team, but the expectations of the role might be keep on evolving as we are discussing till now, right? So yeah, let's, if in
Okay.
case we still need anything to discuss, maybe we can discuss towards the end. But for now, I'm marking it as answered.
Perfect. Thank you. So the next question is like capacity planning, story pointing, how to conduct story points meeting. So anyone would like to share your thoughts on this, how you are doing in your organization? That's how we can learn the best practices of whatever we have been following. Sharath, I still see your hand is raised. I'm not sure whether it's for the previous question or the current question.
I think I lowered my hand, right?
Yeah, just now. So floor is open, team. You can just go ahead and share your best practices, unique approaches as well.
I think
Yeah,
yeah,
go
you can go
ahead,
ahead,
Shreya.
please.
Okay, thanks. So for me, if someone new is coming to the team, every different organization have some their different pattern of doing the story pointing or the planning. So for me, if something new is coming or some experienced person is also joining my team, I better to go with the coaching first, to make them understand, to make them know how things were working in this organization. Because if they were having some different perspectives, so before that having the clash of perspective, I better to go with the first coaching and then understand their perspective. So that might help a lot. Yeah, that's the one only.
So I think we can go with the capacity planning if I go step by step. So the first one is capacity planning. How we follow or how we conduct or how we formulate capacity, right? So basically we have to first decide whether our sprint is of 2 weeks or 4 weeks, right? So let's assume or let's go with 2 weeks system sprint. Okay. Now we have to follow either tools or Excel file, right? Where you need to mention that if you have X number of team member, dev, as per Scrum guide, okay? So how many days they will be available in that particular sprint? For example, if like they are on PTO, maybe there is an optional holiday. So you have to exclude those things. And then you have to exactly give your capacity that these are the days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, 8 days. These are the days when that day will be available in the sprint. Based on that, yeah, again, you can do the multiple calculation that suppose there are 8 days, 6 days, they multiply by the number of days they are available. Based on that, you can calculate the capacity for your entire team. This is the one thing. Again, in some organization, we can go with the hours also. Okay. So in a productive day, how many hours your team, a single day will be? For example, if your shift timing is for 8 hours, right? But those 8 hours will not be considered as a productive. So you have to decide that how many hours you are considering productive. So maybe you will keep 6 hours as a productive in a per day wise, because you have to give an hour for learning, right, for breaks. So out of 8 hours or 9 hours, you have to decide how many hours will be productive. So 6 hours, again, you will use formulas or calculation, then you can bring out your capacity in terms of hours also. So day wise, hours wise, you can just plan your capacity. Once capacity is planned, right, then you can go through the story points, right? How many story points you can plan for that particular sprint. So how we will decide? There is also a formula you can use. For example, first you need to calculate your the average, which is also called velocity, right? So now you have velocity and you have your capacity also. And based on that, you can also calculate the maximum number in the sprint. So you can use a formula, which is average velocity multiplied by maximum hours in the sprint and divided by your current sprint capacity. When you will utilize that formula, it will give you certain number. It could be like 20 points, 25, 30, whatever is the story points. You can share with the team that this is the story points we are planning for this sprint. And let's see, do we have this much of work in the backlog or not? Based on that, you can again plan the sprint planning or backlog refinement. Okay, and during the sprint planning or backlog refinement, you can do the estimation of the user story, where you can give the story points also. So this is just a basics I explained. I would like to give others a chance. Otherwise, it will like keep going on.
Yeah, really nice explanation you have given, Sakib.
Thank you.
Manish, do you want to go next to like input your thoughts?
Sure. I think Saqib has covered elaborately one of the techniques that people could use in terms of capacity plannings, and something similar in one of my organization where I was working and where I was playing a role of a product owner slash business analyst, and I was working with the team. And initially we started off with just a Fibonacci series of estimation kind of a thing. and we didn't go to the level of planning what capacity the team has. We did not factor in those things when we started off initially, and we do not, because we didn't know at that point in time what will work for the team, right? Because it's an evolving team. So we started off with a Fibonacci series of estimation of story points, and then we saw that something was not right. Something was some disconnect we felt, and that's when we went to a model of identifying the number of days the team members are available, breaking down into the number of hours to see that, okay, this is the number of hours the whole team is available for. And in parallel, what we did was against the user story, we would have identified the story points, let's say, whatever is the story points methodology that we have used. After which we as a team, we went to break down, did a work breakdown structure of the story to identify different tasks that would be required to deliver that story out or that functionality out, right? And then assign number of, try to see how much, based on the experience of the team, they would know how much time that a particular task in a user story would take to deliver it, which would help us know in with clarity that, okay, to deliver with the whatever available capacity, this is the number of hours that would comprise of in terms of story, right? And then we would know the story points that the team would be delivering it for the particular sprint. That way we had done it. And I think that is where Sakir was coming to as well. So that is how we were doing it. But again, user, if you were talking about story point, how do we assign story points to the stories that are there in the sprint? Then there is no one way or it, right or wrong way of it, whichever works for the team. You could go with X t-shirt sizing technique as well to say that if it is a small size story, medium, large, double XL kind of a thing, and do a comparative study of various stories to say that, okay, let's say if you're starting a team which is new and the first story comes in, the team might say it is five point story, right? Then when the second story comes, we can do a comparative relative study to say that is the second story relatively simpler to the one that we have seen earlier, or is it difficult than the earlier? Then based on that, we could go about revising the points as well if need be, and define the story points for the user stories as well.
Really helpful, Manish. It's like it's a collaborative one now with Sakir and yours.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. If no other thoughts on this, so shall we move to the next one? Don't see any hands raised. So uh, the next one is use case of Gen AI in Scrum, AI
Right?
impacting Agile.
I think we should use that word also. Elmu. Satish, don't. Yeah.
Yeah. So any thoughts on this? What's the future of AI?
So there are a couple of questions related to that use cases. I already tried to club, but still AI use cases, how to use generative AI in agile frameworks, AI and sprint planning. Like the AI is all the new normal. So let's go ahead and discuss about that. Floor is open, folks.
Yeah, Manish, if you want to start, you can
Yeah.
start with that.
Yeah. See, the evolution of artificial intelligence is like changing daily, right? And earlier it was just blockchain and all those things. Then came Gen AI. Now we are talking about agent AI, right? So it's changing on a daily basis and fast evolving than humans as such in terms of learning the new concepts and new techniques. So what I see is at least with few sessions that I had attended with agent AI, with how they are being implemented, we could start writing agent AIs in order to run these AI meetings, ceremonies, scrum calls, daily stand-ups for that matter. Even where we are trying to write user stories or requirements for the team to work upon, right? Where they are talking about business values, we could use and write generate agent AIs to write user stories in a more unambiguous way. That way, we would be relevant in the market as well as individuals, because we are using the evolving and upcoming technology or a concepts or a framework that is present in the market, rather than being redundant of not using it. Because as we called it out, this is the new normal. So reason being, it's new normal. Anyone who is able to uh, use these frameworks and get work done at a shorter duration of time than what it was done earlier is actually the need of the hour, whereby you could deliver more than what you were delivering, be more productive than what you were earlier, whereby from the organization's perspective also, they are interested in cost. That is what they are looking at, right, than us. So from their perspective as well, they are bringing and delivering and competing in the market with a lesser cost and with more features and more quick turnaround. So that's where I think Gen AI or Agent AI, which is now recently coming up, would help us uh, in terms of leveraging the processes that we are into.
Yeah. Pushpa, want to add something more on this?
And Shreya, there is Idris also has his hand. So if you could
He,
ask Idris.
Adrish, I think he raised down his hand.
Yeah, sorry, I'm here. Sorry. Yeah, so thank you very much, the first speaker. So I think what I'll add to what he said is that, and I love the word co-pilot. So you are the pilot of the team, whether you're the scrum master and everything. The co-pilot is there to assist you. The co-pilot is not your pilot. The agent AI, Gen AI, they are not the pilots. So, but unfortunately, I've seen situations where people so much rely on AI and whatever they give them. And the AI, at times, it could be so wrong. And I've seen situations where the AI, as the output from the AI is so wrong. So we need to manage how we use AI. AI is meant to assist us, come up, give us some ideas that we couldn't even think of, or come up with something as quick as possible. Well, we, the human beings, the AI, it doesn't have empathy. It doesn't think. It just gives you from the trained stories and information it's gotten. It just gives you verbatim. But then we, the human beings, we need to use our emotional intelligence and so many other skills that we have. And we need to refine the stories or whatever we get from the AI to suit our situation and our purpose. That's just what I wanted to add to it. Thank you.
Thanks, Adrish. Sandeep, want to go next?
Mm,
Let me begin with some of the use cases where I'm using AI currently. One is, as most of you know, it's day-to-day activities. One thing that I would recommend each one of you is, specifically if you are designing some workshops, some training programs. I think as a Scrum Master and Agile coaches, it's one of the great ways in terms of getting some ideas, an effective idea in terms of how do you go about facilitating a particular meeting or a workshop, right? So, which I would recommend again most of you to make use of it. Second thing is there are lots of documentations that we end up preparing as a Scrum Master, as a Agile coaches. And again, I believe AI can be a good ally for you in terms of the speed at which you can generate those documents. Like if I want to create any Confluence page, I can give my ideas to the prompt as well as get ideas from the AI. Together combination, fine tune based on the need, post it on your Confluence pages or something. So yeah, I believe documentation is another place where you can extensively make use of AI, specifically whatever documents you end up creating within your organization as an artifacts. Third thing is I have evaluated some of the agile specific AI tools, right, which can be used for retro, sprint planning, daily stand up, whatnot, right? All Scrum ceremonies can be uh, make use of using AI. But believe me, as rightly pointed out by Idris, if you give really a challenge to it and ask what could be the probable solution, like one example I can give you is in one of my previous engagements, one of the biggest challenges was junior to senior developer ratio, right? It was a small organization with around 300 engineers. But yeah, the ratio between the junior and senior developers was very, I mean, it was not matching at all, right? Now, if I ask AI, what should I do? It will tell you go and hire, correct? Which anybody can answer. Yeah, most of the times I have found some of the suggestions which is coming out of AI is really a common sense in one sense, but practically it's not implementable, right? So it will not take into account the context in which we are offering, right? So which is where um, whatever solutions is coming out of AI, again, it is required that some form of your thinking is required to fine tune and make use of it based on the context you want to offer it. Overall, if it is increasing the speed, make use of the tool. But remember, when we talk about implementing agile, we are talking about mindset and human behaviors, which any tool is not going to is not going to.
That's really correct part because deep thinking is the key of anything. So if because AI, what will think about, it's all about the examples or the things we were putting into that for the some kind of suggestions or anything. But the main core is coming from the human. So yeah, with the help of the the deep thinking only you can get some more uh, precise things what you want to like get into it and how you want to complete this particular process of work. uh, I can see here Pushpa. Do you want to
Yeah,
add anything?
yeah, Shreya, I agree that Sandeep's point where AI gives us advantage in reducing the time. But I just want to have an idea from all that. Is AI really linked up with the Jira or any agile practices really from the organization? Because I hear so much on AI coming on and advantages, but how many organizations are really implementing the AI and linking up with Jira for making a better metrics or for making adding the better value? As I think we are only limiting the AI with the meetings or the retro forms that we can make it out. But I don't think in linking up with the stories or coming out with the epics or coming out with the OKRs. I just want to analyze from everyone that where we are there, like how exactly we are using the Jira with AI installed or AI linked, because I don't have in my organization that feature where Jira is coming out with AI feature and we are able to make out easily. We have to also depend on the chat GPT or co-pilots or other tools, and it will not be apt also. Exactly whatever we need, we cannot make it out.
I think
So
I have
that's
seen three kind of solutions for this particular problem. One is Jira itself has written many AI plugins and AI things, which doesn't come with free. Sadly, you have to purchase the plugin. But there are
yeah.
lots of things, whatever you mentioned, you can still directly get it from Jira itself, right? That is one way. Second one
Yeah,
is
we
there are a
have
lot of plugins also written, many people have written, which can really integrate with Jira and really take care of your velocity data. It can do some kind of a statistics and study. It can read your dashboards, give certain suggestions. So I've seen that as another solution. The third one is natively you can write your own APIs, your own agent AIs, which can actually talk to your Jira and do whatever you want to do eventually. So
Is
you
it
can build those
freely
solutions.
available like for any of the Jira instance? Can we just make our own APIs and come out with our own queries and come out with our own metrics?
So Pushpa, just to add on, right? So you might have to check with your Jira admin to
Okay.
activate the AI within
Okay.
Jira. Right? It might be already available because the premium subscription or the enterprise subscriptions, the Atlassian AI is already made available. Only thing is
Okay.
the Jira admin of the organization need to activate it so that you as a user will be able to make use of that. Right? So
Yeah.
I can share these links. See the
Mm-hmm.
Atlassian itself coming up with the Confluence, Jira Service Management, Rovo, whatnot, right? It is even helping us to create the JQLs, customize the documentation.
Yes, yes.
Lot of things are there. Okay.
Yeah, I was also thinking to check with Jira admin because
Yes.
I heard from so many that AI has been inbuilt in Atlassian Jira.
Mm,
And but when I asked, I didn't find out that feature in my Jira board or Jira Cloud
mm.
instance or that. So I thought, okay, let me ask here anyway. That discussion came and how
Yes.
everyone are using in their organization with AI linked Jira. Yeah.
Yes. So
Mhm.
to the previous question, how we can use Jira, I mean AI in the sprint planning, right? So within the now the Jira Cloud, in the
Hmm.
backlog itself, here the backlog insights, it is showing what could be the velocity. We don't even have to go to the reports section or anything. Within the backlog itself, we are having this now the thing called as backlog insights. Click on that. It is giving the what's the sprint commitment, what could be the velocity, what's the committed versus the recommended, what's the type of what type breakdown. All these things are coming up built in to the Jira cloud. You don't even have to go to any other, no need of ChatGPT or no need of any other tools itself, right? Same way
Okay.
with the Atlassian intelligence, we can even find the issues. We can even write the customize. I mean, the summarize the conference page. We can even write the integrate with the Slack. We can even write the acceptance criteria with the stories, or we can even give a feature. The Jira Atlassian intelligence will even create the user stories. Everything within Jira itself. No need to even go to the other tools.
Oh.
So that way, it will help to even safeguard your data. You don't even have to make use of the chat GPT or any other tool, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
go through this link, artificial intelligence in the Atlassian. So
Okay.
then to add on, the Atlassian has a paid version of Atlassian Analytics. What is it or how is it going to help is like, see, the safe perspective, if in case the organization is implementing safe, we can select the program and the multiple PIs and what type of work we want to analyze. It is giving all the insights on one single screen. What's the cycle time? What's the flow efficiency? What's the throughput? How many work in progress? What's the business objectives? What's the key results? What's the cycle time, flow efficiency? Everything with just one single configuration.
Yeah, yeah, for this we have our own Easy BI platform where
Yes.
we drag the data and we get all the statistics.
Mhm,
That I agree, but yeah, AI wise, story wise, I didn't saw that feature, so I thought,
mhm.
yeah, I will check on with our Jira admin on this because and before that I have to also go through the Atlassian AI
Yes. See,
board
this
so that I
Atlassian
can
Analytics,
understand.
it helped us in one of the engagement, like where we have like almost 200 plus agile teams, Scrum,
Oh,
Kanban together, right? So now this can give us the Jira flow metrics of all the 200 plus teams at a time. The organization level overview. So if I'm the director or the vice president, if I want to get an insights of how the 200 plus agile teams are doing, I can generate that. I can take a look at that with the one single click, one single configuration. Right? So like that, there are we can even customize the JQLs using the Atlassian Analytics, and we can filter, or we can tweak, adjust what or how the chart or the information or the graph we want to present or the publish. So all these things, Atlassian is also increasing or bringing in the AI functionality within the Atlassian as a product itself.
Okay. Yeah,
Right?
because in one of your session I have seen this
Yes.
how you have used the metrics, but again I was wondering it is not showing in my Jira board and
Yes.
LinkedIn.
You need to
The
activate. You need
LinkedIn
to
is
get it activated. Yes.
yeah, I have to get it activated by Jira admin. Then I'll just talk to him and
Sure.
I come back to you. Yeah.
Maybe Pushpa, one more point. Since you asked, like any organizations are doing, whatever Satish has explained, like we can do it. So everything we are doing in our organization, starting from the technical writer, product owner, as well as the scrum master or the developer. So release notes, user story, acceptance criteria, reports, everything, because we have integrated that Atlassian Jira AI tools. And recently, we have also started with Jira with MLP.
Mm.
So it gives like a very detailed information, just simple to say like what is the team accomplishments from the last H1. So it gives
Yeah,
at the
that
team level as well as the individual level. That is something we are still exploring, but all other things we have been using it from quite some time.
yeah, that's what we were also aiming at. Like it will be easy for us whenever we make it out because manually making it out is very difficult and definitely it will be a paid version for AI. I don't think for everyone it will get paid. They will give that feature. Yeah, I'll check. Definitely,
Sure.
Satish. That's a good learning for me. Yeah.
Sure.
Thank you.
Sure thing. Yes. So Mandeep was mentioning that agentic AI can also be built using Enterprise Copilot Edition, where you can create an AI agent based on use case with Copilot capabilities. It can play the role as a product owner, Scrum Master, RTA, and help us out. Yes, definitely, Mandeep. That's what we can even again based upon the organization policies. Like today morning, I was having a conversation. Uh, Banks, they are not even ready to make use of any of the AI tools for what are their own reasons or the policies. Right? So the organization policies also will come into context in these cases, right? So we as an individual might want to explore or experiment, but make sure to check with our organization policies or the guidelines whenever you are experimenting or exploring or applying to make use of any of the AI tools or the use cases. Yes, I could see some of the yes, Sharath and Idris.
Yeah, Bharat here. Just want to share my couple of cents. Um, I think here in this aspect, with respect to the use cases for Scrum Masters coaches, right? With respect to AI, I think we have made a significant progress here. People who have attended the Cognition 2025, right? So they can more relate to these kind of discussions already happened. So you can refer to the discussions. I think Satish has already shared those videos with all of you. The session led by Rajarshi Arjun, right? Where he has elaboratively he has explained more use cases on how we can use AI for all the ceremonies using Make.ai and couple of other tools, right? So just in your free time, watch those videos, understand how things are running over there. Apart from that, Madurai Das, I believe, Madurai Das, Arjun Majumdar. So I remember these three people, but there are around 16 speakers who have talked, in that Cognition 2020 happened last month. So please refer to those videos if you want more live use cases, which they have used and they have explained it clearly, right? So that will be a very good guide for all of you. And whatever Satish told just now in terms of AI usage in Jira is I think these are very good discussions. Okay. So these are a couple of thoughts from my side.
We see Idris,
Yeah.
you
Okay.
wanna add
Thank.
your
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you very much. So I love I love the perspectives of everybody. But then let me be a devil's advocate. So you use AI for your user story writing, acceptance criteria, and everything. How does it impact the individuals and interaction within the team? Has it taken over the thought process of everybody within the team? The product owner doesn't even have to do anything. Nobody does anything. You just wait for AI to give us the stories, and then we run to the developers and the developer. So how do we handle that individual and interactions?
Yes, so I can answer that, or I can add on top of your thoughts, Idris. Thanks for bringing that point. That is also really important, right? So I was going through an article like, is AI making us lazy or crazy? Yes, obviously, right? So in one of the organization where I was working, as a collaboration, they clearly added a label or a uh, pointer stating that content generated by AI, right? So for the acceptance criteria, the user stories, which means they, as a team, as an organization, are taking the help of the AI, but end of the day, still the team and the product owner holds the accountability of reviewing it, whether they want to make use of it or keep it aside. It is still with the hands of the product owner and the team. So they're taking the help of the AI functionality to generate the acceptance criteria, the user stories, but they still hold that team collaboration. Obviously, the backlog refinement or sprint planning, everything is part of the team, the individuals and interactions. So we still need to go ahead just because AI created or AI generated. Let's go ahead with that blindly. Not at all. Not at all. That's the first point we discussed before even starting the discussion, right? So we shouldn't, any of us, any of the use case or the role, we shouldn't just blindly make use or copy paste or let the AI take the control. We need to take AI as a supporting mechanism for us in any case, any situation. Yes, Manish?
That is why Satish, as you said, and as Aidish also pointed out in one of the earlier questions, right, about AI, that we should, AI does not have an emotional intelligence, which is there with humans. And hence, we should see AI as always an enablers, not something that would be taking up the full and fledged roles of an individual, because end of the day, as the role demands, AIs are not product owners in their own right, because they don't think that way. They are learning on a daily basis as we feed information, and they are course correcting it as we course correct in agile anyway, right? The way we operate. Similarly, agile is AI is also course correcting it, but again, they are all large language models. It is what we tell it, it is giving it us. So as the nomenclature or as the quote goes, when computers were introduced, right? Garbage in, garbage out. So if you give garbage to the AI, it will give you garbage out. And if you give them intelligence to it, it will give you proper intelligence out. So that's how I say.
Thanks for that. And just to add before we move out, I know Mandeep gave a heads up of Elmo. Just to add one last point before we move out of this AI concept. The AI is not new. Even before this, we as a teams, we as an organization are making use the automation functionality within the Zero or Rally or Azure DevOps to recreate the similar user stories or similar tasks or subtasks within the things. The same thing now we might be making use of the AI. So the basic functionalities of the stories acceptance criteria, AI might be helping us. Now we as a human, we as an individuals, we need to bring up that what else we want to add on top of this stories or the acceptance criteria created by AI. That's how we can start. We need to start thinking so that we can still bring up the pointers and bring our own value from the individuals and interactions perspective. Okay, thank you. Nice discussion.
Can we move on to the next questions?
Yes. So half of it we already discussed, the new skills, the job opportunities. I guess we discussed already that, right?
Almost it covered. It all depends on the need,
Yes,
supply and demand.
exactly. Okay.
Yeah, maybe someone wants to share your thoughts on that vertical slicing. Does anyone have any idea about vertical slicing, or we are just thinking how best we can share it with this group?
So I can go ahead, Nirmala. I think
Thank you,
a while
Nishant.
ago I did a session, I think in January, if I remember correctly. I'm happy to do that again if there are people who are interested in learning vertical slicing and how to do that best.
Sure thing, Nishant, we can do that. And the
Can I share
similar,
something?
yes, Sakir, please.
Just a small knowledge. I think we can relate to vertical slicing. So, like, we give an example, right, of a cake. When we have multi-layered cake, and when we do a horizontal slicing, we will be able to taste only one or two flavor, right? But when we will do it a vertical slicing, we can have more flavors, right? So that the same thing we can apply in the user story when we are uh, breaking the features into small user stories. We can use the vertical slicing so that it can have all the attributes from like development to like analysis, testing, development, each and everything should be there. And to do the vertical slicing, we can follow the invest criteria where we can understand the I stands for independent. That means user story should be independent. It should not be dependent so that it can be a blocker for the day. So user story should be independent. Similarly, and for negotiable. So user story should be negotiable. It should not be rigid. That once it is defined there or room, it should not be changed. No, we have to show some flexibility so that with the progress, they can go ahead and negotiate based on the criticality, okay, and the analysis. And the third one is V, right? Invest. So V is, I think, value. I think value, it should generate some value. Okay. And E, it should be estimated. We can estimate it, right? So estimatable, it should be. Similarly, invest. S is, it should be short and simple. And the T is, I think, time-based.
Testable.
So this is testable or time?
Testable.
Something testable, yeah. So yeah, these are the criteria which follow for the vertical slicing. Thank you.
Yeah, I have a different perspective. I know as a theoretical, it looks very good, that cake of piece with all the layers. But I wanted to hear from the group of the people, whatever Sakir has explained, are we seeing in the real-time use cases? Very good to hear, but practically, anyone want to share your thoughts? What's the challenges you might be having? Maybe we do have some other experts who can share like how we can have that piece of cake with all the colors, flavors.
Right. I have a experience, like I think in one of the banking project that I worked on, we used to take three user stories, like layer like UI, API, and then testing also. So there'll be three user stories for one functionality. So this is a vertical slicing. This actually helped us to implement across different environments like SIT and the pre-prod, and then finally into the operations will deploy them into the production. So this is the vertical slicing that I think Sahir is trying to tell. So basically, we can have three with UI, API, and no the testing layer of it. It is a struggle, but once organization try and understand that, this is easier to implement rather than putting everything no together.
Thank you,
And it helps
Suganti.
in avoiding spillover also. It helps in avoiding spillover.
Right.
Otherwise, dependency.
Good to see some positive testimonials on this vertical slicing. Maybe Nishant or Sandeep, I could see both are available in case if you would like to share your thoughts on that.
So I can share a couple of things, Nirmala. One is, backlog grooming, we say, is the backbone of Scrum, right? And for a backlog to be good, you need good stories, right? there's a whole chapter in a lot of books that you'll find out of website that will cover all this. But in short, what I can tell you is that if you have to write good stories, you have to follow both three C's and invest, and then slice them vertically. Make sure that they're sliced vertically, not in the same order, but yes. Now, is it easy or easy enough to do vertical slices? No, definitely no. And it all depends on how your team's organized, how your work is organized. If you're organizing work in component model, for example, saying, we'll do development first, then testing, and then all of that deployment, then obviously your stories will reflect your process and your organization's construct as well, right? But if you have to really write vertically sliced functional stories, then you have to make some compromises. Maybe compromise is not the right word. Adjustments to your process and how you organize people around it, right? So that's the long and short of it. But if you want to go deeper into how to use vertical slicing to your advantage and how to really do that with your big chunk stories, then that's a different exercise in altogether, I would say.
Yeah, thank you, Nishan. For sure, we'll look forward for your session. Otherwise, we'll go through the already covered session. So for sure, Satish will be sharing that link. So Sandeep, you also raised your hand. You wanna add your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think as rightly pointed out, right, the prerequisite for having that kind of a backlog is having a cross-functional. Right? Unless your organization is designed in such a way that end-to-end delivery can be done by a single Scrum team, I think vertical slicing implementing there would make more sense. But if the organization is really not ready for it, right? But again, I mean, as a coach or a consultant, I would still advise that when I'm coaching, I would try to have a conversation about differentiating between a task versus a story, right? So yeah, if my organization or my teams are more of a component teams rather than cross-functional teams, then I would say each and every team will have a set of tasks which will be linked to a cross-functional user story. Right? So how do you organize the backlog eventually in Jira also matters. So yeah, fundamentally helping the teams understand the difference between, because as this now we heard, right? UI story, API story, and testing story. This is not a story. The story is something which is end user usable thing, right? So these are tasks, UI and API, right? So yeah. So even if your organization is more of a component teams, still how do you manage your backlog also determines how do you go ahead with the slicing.
I think this came just to differentiate the agile versus waterfall. Because if we will go one by one, then definitely we are not following agile. We are following waterfall. So it depends.
So I see that, Elmo. But still, we have covered good perspectives, and we'll have further discussions in our upcoming Lean Connects because it's like a huge topic. So for the next comes very interesting question. Scrum Master path and what need to be done further to go into a higher growth. So anyone wants to share your thoughts? Who would like to go first? Maybe this time we'll give an opportunity for the people who haven't spoken yet. So, I mean, let's give that option to them. But in case if someone is really not ready, then others can go over.
Yeah, see, Hari unmuted. Yes, Hari,
Yes.
please.
Yeah, for Scrum Master path is from Scrum Master to you can leave Scrum Master. The lead Scrum Master will lead a couple of Scrum Masters or more than 2, 3 years based upon that how many Scrum Masters are available in the project particularly. So after that, from there they'll go to move on to the Agile coach. Okay, then so if they are interested and can convert into product owner path also, if they're after agile coach, then enterprise agile coach, transformation agile coach, those kind of things. These are my perspectives as per my.
Thank you so much, Hari. I see Aidrish and Shiva raise their hand.
So thank you. So again, I'm looking at Scrum Master. Scrum Master is an accountability. So I can remain a Scrum Master in my organization. You can remain a Scrum Master for 15, 20 years, so, and that is it. So there's no senior Scrum Master, there's no junior Scrum Master, there's no lead Scrum Master. A Scrum Master is a Scrum Master. You can continue to be a Scrum Master till you retire and until you start collecting your pension. Even at your pension, you can still become a Scrum Master of your pension. So the most important thing is a Scrum Master is a Scrum Master. A Scrum Master is a coach. The more you develop yourself on the Scrum Master accountability, you learn how to you learn how to coach, you learn how to facilitate, you learn so many things. But you can always remain a Scrum Master. There's nothing else. A coach is just another terminology that some people carved out of everything. A Scrum Master is a Scrum Master. My thoughts. Thank you.
So
Thank you,
just
Aidrish.
thanks, Idris, for that point. But just to add on, these are the roles or the designations created by the companies, just for like maybe the organizing or segregating the individuals who are working. Let's suppose I'm that individual. I might ask my manager or my leader, hey, what's my career growth? Okay, Satish, till now you're a scrum master. Now I will tag you as a senior scrum master or like a lead scrum master. So these are all the hierarchies the organizations are creating. It is not we as an individuals created, but yes, end of the day, scrum master is a scrum master, or I don't even call or consider as a scrum master, but it need to be like a coach. Even at the team level or the organization level, enterprise level, we need to consider ourselves as a coach. Yes, I could see Santosh also unmuted before. Santosh, you want to
Shiva
add
is.
anything? Yes,
Yeah,
Shiva,
I'm there,
Santosh.
Nirmal. Yeah, I'll go next. I agree with Satish point of view and Harish point of view, but I would like to add my pointers here. Basically, any role that equally dependent on what you wanted to do, what side of path which you wanted to take. Then, what are your strengths and weaknesses which you have? I mean, let's say you worked over a period as a Scrum Master. You realized there is much more things that you wanted to do. You may get into a business side of it and then learn certain aspects and move into the product owner. I mean, you understand the technicalities, integrities, and where you see the initiative mindset in you has a lot more to do research, analytics, and where you wanted to set up a complete new path to the product that you are aiming for, that you can go there. And I believe there is a sky is a limit. I mean, usually we can say that sky is a limit, but eventually, in a nutshell, you go for a agile coach, you go for a product owner, you go for a project manager. It's not limited to one answer. I mean, how you wanted to go there, you have to upskill, reskill, and you have to relearn what you have learned, and the thoughts which you are getting from the market and the industry, whether that is fitting in your need and all that, you need to make sure to collaborate all of them and have an idea about it. I mean, that's all I can say. Thank you.
Thanks,
Perfect,
Shiva.
Shiva. I second that as well.
Shreya.
Yeah, I completely agree with all of you, like the bits and pieces that we were just collecting off. But I can see if anyone wants to just explore some new, like if anyone is the Scrum Master and they are more like they gain some more understanding about the product. So many of Scrum Master I have seen they were converted into the product lead or product manager, like that. So it's all about the your interests, where you are getting that and which field now next you want to explore. So some people have become full-time project manager also, like it's a collaborative role itself. Like as a Scrum Master, it's expected from some of the organization they can do the project management activity also. But yeah, but if they were getting some more interest in that way, so they have moved full-fledgedly into as a project manager or the or the product lead, something like that. So it's your more experience and the individual level of growth you were seeing.
Thank you, Shreya. I see even Idrish also messaged the same thing. A Scrum Master, moving from Scrum Master to product owner is not a career growth, but an individual choice. That's what even Shiva was also stressing. See, however, individual wanted to grow in their career based on their interest. Just to add on, based on the current situation, again, the demand and supply comes. So that's how sometimes we will have to tweak and adjust our paths. So I am one of the live example, as I was sharing earlier. Started my journey as a QA engineer, then transitioned to the Scrum Master, I mean QA lead, and then to the Scrum Master, later to associate manager, and then engineering manager, because that's how my organization was looking. So based on that, I've just tweaked a little bit. So again, it depends on the individual situation and the circumstances.
Yeah,
So
I would.
any other thoughts? Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, I would like to add to this. Like when we are saying this Scrum Master, so generally what happens, we have only one or two teams as a Scrum team or Kanban team. So I don't think there is a lot of scope for a Scrum Master to go to the higher position apart from the project manager, as you said. The ladder you had, like a project manager, they have to divert. They cannot be. They can go as an agile coach, right? After Scrum Master, but if you are scaling it as we have scaled agile framework, in those type of frameworks, there is a scope for a Scrum Master to go into that ladder of into having the same path to follow the Scrum teams and Kanban teams. So they can be a Scrum Master, they can be then the release train engineer, and then they can just go as a agile coach, enterprise agile coach. In that way, they can scale if they have having the scaling agile framework. Otherwise, then they have this path to go to the project manager path.
Thank you, Mrunal, for adding your insights. I see even Sharath raised his hand.
Yeah, thanks, Nirmala. Just want to share my couple of thoughts. So, in terms of roles, as Satish has already told, it's industry created roles, right? Whether you want to be a Scrum Master or Senior Scrum Master or Agile Coach or RT, Release Train Engineer or SPC, say Program Consultant or Enterprise Agile Coach. These are all created by the organizations so that they can ensure smooth functioning of their projects, right? With those different roles. Coming to the how a role can differentiate, I believe most of you people might be aware, but still emphasizing, like at a basic Scrum Master level, he or she has some basic responsibilities, right? Unblocking the impediments, organizing the ceremonies, ensuring they do some good reporting, right? These are all the basic responsibilities of the Scrum Master. But as you become more matured, your responsibilities will increase, right? Where instead of a single framework, you need to have good hands-on with the multiple frameworks. Like apart from Scrum, you need to have, uh, you know, good understanding on Kanban, Lean, and all those areas, and different frameworks like Safeguard, Nexus, and all those areas, right? Where you should be in a position to implement those frameworks for one or good amount of other projects, right? Apart from that, how good you are following those agile practices, how good you are working with your product owner in terms of understanding the product and guiding and creating value over there, how you are able to bring business agility within the organization as well as in your projects, right? Then people talk about the technical agility, right? How you are able to bring your you know monolithic architectures into simple and nimble architectures using APIs or microservices and all those things, right? How you are good in terms of your DevOps practices, how you can be able to guide the teams in terms of DevOps practices. Now, recently, AI has come. How you are able to nurture your teams in terms of, you know, uh, using the AI to a certain level. Of course, as everyone echoed in this forum, that we are still taking the baby steps, which is ultimately true. But somewhere you will become big, right, over the next couple of years. Because earlier, when a change used to need to take place, it used to take at least a decade for a change. Now, gradually that has become for every 5 years, some changes are coming. Now it has decreased it to some 2 years. And now with the invent of AI, it is almost coming to daily normal, right? Tomorrow we don't know what change is going to come on our head. So how we will be well aware of these changes, how we can take this forward, right? Then architectural agility, then at the enterprise level, how you are collaborating with the leadership team, how you're in their difficult situations, how you are able to step into their shoes and able to coach them on different areas. Right? There are good number of responsibilities as you grow to a different level. These responsibilities will start inviting you if you want to take growth path to the next level, right? So as a Scrum Master, you should be aware of all these things, a bigger picture. What I suggest people is, if you want to grow as a senior Scrum Master or Agile coach, start seeing those roles, those job descriptions. Job descriptions, if you take 10 to 20 job descriptions of different companies, you will understand what broadly that role demands you. Then start planning how you can acquire those skills one by one, right? That will help you put in a comfortable position when you're acing an interview, right? So that you will be able to grab the job, not only grabbing, you will be able to create value also, right? So that is how you need to see yourself. And certifications. I think all of the people in this forum might have done some certification or the other, right? But how you are doing these certifications vertically, right? Not just vertically in your domain and horizontally also. Suppose I'm a Scrum Master, I'm doing CSM, PSM, whatever. Apart from, do you have a DevOps certification? Do you have a AI certification? Do you have a PSM certification? So you have to ace those certifications also, so that industry will recognize you, what your capabilities are to a certain extent. And after that interview, you will be taken for granted if you have those capabilities, right? So this is how you need to forecast at every level and see what is going to come my way. And you have to plan accordingly. So these are my thoughts.
Thanks, Sharad.
Thank you, Sharad. I see Santosh also raised his hand.
Well, after Santosh, I want to just add a couple of pointers and then we can move to the next question. Yes,
For
Santosh,
sure,
please.
Satish.
So my question, I mean, like, it's Scrum Master path is okay, but as you know, the demand of Scrum Masters, Agile coaches is less in the market, and moreover, if I have to just predict or like I can foresee, it would not increase because as per the industry standards, if you I have pasted on the group chat, I mean in the link also, where the AI roles are there, where the Scrum Master role is not visible or like in any way where he can add value to the whole team is little bit less. So I needed this point of view from all the people, like if the scrum master roles are eliminated or like is most of them are like working as a gatekeeper only, so the organization does not see them as a real time adding value. If somebody says that we are just a organizer or a coordinator, anybody can do it. For that, you don't need a certified person also nowadays. I mean, that is the understanding of the industry is there. And with AI coming into the picture and full fledged, it's around $800 billion investment from all the top five fan companies are there. So, do you think the relevance of this role will be there in this AI world?
Maybe Santosh, I can just add one point here. It all depends on the impact or the value what we are creating. So sometimes this is my personal opinion. It depends on the person who is playing that role can add a value. Maybe if someone else is there in that position, maybe they may not able to bring that impact or the value. Maybe that could be one of the reason that roles are getting redundant and people are having the different kind of perception. And maybe most of the people will agree with me. Many people outside things like scrum master is the job, anyone can get into it irrespective of what their background was. So there are a lot of things. Maybe it's like a very huge topic for the discussion. So I'll hand over it to Satish for the last closing notes on this question so that we can move forward to other one.
Yes. So,
Yeah, yeah. Sorry to interrupt, Satish. Just one question also. You can also answer it. See, who can define the value of a Scrum Master in a new AI-driven world? That is another question I want to add, follow up on her reply. Yeah, go ahead, Satish.
Sure. So, my perspective, I will consider the teams as a kids. So, when the kids are born new, we might be taking care of each and everything, starting from feeding them, helping them, taking care of day-to-day activities and everything. As the kids grow, we will let them do the things on their own. So, after a certain point of time, the kids might not even come back to us. That they might not give the updates. They might not be interacting with us day to day. That's what I'm having a challenge with my kids also, right? So the role of a scrum master is evolving. Even the coaches also, not just the scrum master, right? So at some point of time, the organization might feel we are good with that. Have to. We don't need to have the role of a scrum master. Instead, now this is the new challenge, or this is the new expectation, this is a new role, these are new things which we might have to, as an organization, as a product, or as a company, which we are focusing upon. So if that is the case, see, what about the tools or the technology we are using? Are we still using that Microsoft Office 2010 or Internet Explorer? That even the tools, the technology software is also evolving. We might more. So this from the server, now most of us, all of us are making use of the cloud as a implementation source. The same with the any of the hardwares, or even our physical devices and everything, right? So same is the thing which could be the expectations from the organization as well. So majority of my personal experience or the observation, the companies are saying no to these roles if they are not able to identify or realize the value from these roles. So to your question, a second or the recent latest question, Santosh, who should define the value? Obviously, first it is us as an individual who is playing the role, plus the leaders who created that role. We need to, whatever the role, it's not just Scrum Master or the coach, right? Whatever the role, we need to have the conversation with the leader, understand what is that you are expecting out of this role. What is the value I can deliver to the team, to the organization, to the module, to the program I'm working with? So we need to take that step. We need to collaborate with our client, or with our manager, with our reporting manager or leader. We need to start understanding what is that they are expecting, and constantly, consistently, on a regular basis, we should showcase the value, what are we are delivering, what are we are helping the teams or the module or the project or the program, where what are the level we are working with. So it is us as an individual, we need to take that accountability of ownership. Am I delivering value? Am I bringing value? Or if the team, if the organization, if the leaders are not realizing that, do we need to have Satish? Do we need to have Santosh? Do we need to have Nirmala in this role? Obviously, the question will come. Right? Does it answer your question, Santosh?
Somewhat. Now there is a follow-up question. Now I will take one particular company's incident where they have reduced the bench strength to 35 days, and every person, whatever role they were playing, they have to now switch to another different role based
That's
on
what
the client billing part. So
exactly.
how do you handle such sort of situation? You might be knowing the organization also, most of the team, most of the people here, right? So now they have told people to take up any roles, whatever the organization gives you or wherever you can fit in. So how do
It
you
is.
handle such situation in
It
this
is all
world?
the, yeah, it is all the demand and supply. Again, where the point from the beginning we are discussing. So if the let's suppose the summer is gone now, winter started, so that the rainy season started. So now the usage of the coconuts or the mangoes or the summer fruits has gone down. So do you still expect that because I have that coconuts or the mangoes or that summer fruits, the customer will still should come and make use of it? No, that's what many of the many of the stores are doing it. So they are seasonal. They are bringing up that fruits, or they're bringing that varieties and doing that. So if the see, we are talking about as an individual, but what about the organization? We need to think from the organization perspective. They any organization, the policy which they are bringing is because they are having some limitation or restriction or expectation from the clients to whom they are serving for. If the clients are saying, I don't need scrum masters, what is that organization can do in that case? Can they say that, no, we already have maybe 10,000 scrum masters, so we will have their scrum masters only as a scrum master? No, it might not be. See, Nirmala mentioned that she started as a QA, then as a scrum master, then into the engineering manager. So even I did the same. I started my career as a QA engineer, and then I pivoted my own career as per my own expectation or my own interest, plus the organization expectation also. Are we still continuing with the same role, same skill set? Might be, might not be. So we may have to even pivot, we may have to figure out what we may have to do to understand the organization's context or the client or the stakeholders' expectations, and we can go ahead with that. So just to add on, in one of the forum I was mentioning, this specific company's name is coming out because they are bringing up these policies as a huge headcount who is having in that company for what all reasons, right? So this company might be serving for 100 clients. So let's suppose 60 members they have hired for each of that client. So 6,000 employees they have hired or they are about to onboard or about to map. That 100 clients stop saying that I don't need this skill set. What is it the company can do with that 60,000 or 6,000 employees? Right? I mean, we are getting the context. So there will be a lot of such
I'm
things
getting it.
which
That means we,
might not be within the hands of the company. They might not be intentionally doing it. It's not the case what they have to, or they are, what do you say? They're just doing it just like that. And I was mentioning in one of the forum, we are still in the towards the end of the July. Let August come, we are going to see many more such changes from many companies, not just one company. That's coming up, right? And to the second question, the leadership skills, right? So this PDF I already shared in the what to say the chart, so you can go through that. What this is not just for the agile coach, so for any role, we have the competencies as a leader. What is that we need to focus on, and the levels of agile coaching, and what is that shuhari need not be for the coaching or need not be for the scrum master. It can be for any role, any organization, any context. So take that coaching or take that agile out of that, and you can consider even for that AI, even for the ML, or even for the development, even for any project implementation. This can be used as a baseline, as a reference for any of these perspectives, right?
Thank you for those insights, Satish. I know we have extended a little bit, but this is something very much required for many of the folks in this call. So it's a good conversation. So maybe metrics and dashboard, I'll route it to you only, Satish, because you have already shared that Jira board with the reports. And so we'll start with you. And then if someone has anything else to add, we'll go over with them.
So the metrics and dashboards, again, my experience, my perspective is like, uh, ask your stakeholders what the metrics they want to look, what information they want to go ahead. In one of my engagement, we are replacing the another vendor. So when we are getting that KT or handover, the previous vendor, they gave us a template of the dashboard or the metrics and everything. I asked one simple question: who is referring this metric? Who is referring this template or the dashboard? They said, we don't know. We had been asked to follow it. We are using it. That's it. So go back and ask your stakeholders what information you need, what information you are looking for, you are expecting for, and how are you going to make use of that, right? So what is that, this information in the form of the metric or the dashboard or a report is going to help you from either from the team perspective or from the client or the end user perspective. How by me sharing that percentage of automation or percentage of code quality is going to help you as a leader or as a stakeholder, as a client from the end-to-end implementation perspective. So we need to ask the questions. There might be a specific set of metrics which we might be by default following. Along with that, we can start figuring out what sort of information can be valued, can be relevant from that implementation perspective. Again, there is no one size fits all. What works for me in one implementation might not work for the other implementation, for me as a coach or me as a scrum master itself. So anytime ask the stakeholders, ask your teams, hey, do you want to track this, or do you think it is going to help? And one of my favorite picture I use for any of these discussions is, how are we going to make use of that metric? Right? If you are just looking at the metric without having the interaction with the teams, it's not going to help. If you say, hey, we are going at a speed of 100 miles per hour, 100 kilometers per hour, wow, excellent. But we are going in a wrong route or in the wrong path. How is it going to help? Just don't look at the metrics alone. Individuals and interactions. Start having that interaction with your stakeholders, with your teams, with your other colleagues, scrum masters or coaches, and then define what sort of the metric or how you want to track that metric, how we are going to make use of that. Are you good?
Yeah, maybe if anyone wants to add any other thoughts, if you want to call out any of the specific metrics which worked out for you in specific scenario, we can spend another few minutes on that because we have only one more question left. Okay, so that
Just
means
one
everyone are
thing to
very.
add. Sorry, Nirmala. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead,
Come
Vardhan.
late. Yeah, just one thing to add. I think it will answer the previous questions as well, right? So some of the questions. So we need to stop looking everything from the role perspective and start looking at from a value perspective. So what is the value that the metric is generating? What is the value as a scrum master that I'm adding? If I'm not adding value, then I'll be removed, obviously, right? That's obvious for any organization, any team or anything. So ultimately, the metric that you're choosing, the role that you're playing should, for the organization, for the team, it has to add some value and to the customer specifically. Like earlier, Satish was mentioning some of the reports. So the metric that works for me might not work for some other person. So what is the metric that is working for the current customer is what you have to find out. And just because one thing works for one person it might not work for the person. So find out. Always speak to the end user or the person who is going to look at the report or anything, and ask him what is the value that you're seeing after you look at this report. So I think value perspective, you have to simply.
Agree
Thanks,
with you
Vardhan.
100%, Vardhan. I see Manish and Shreya raise their hand, and after that, we'll move on to the last question.
Thank you, Nirma. So, but overall, based on several discussions and several questions that we have gone through, right? There are a few things that I just wanted to call out. In case it will address everything was that one, we should stop thinking from the lens of being an emotional person. We should start thinking objectively to see the problem statement and what resolution we could bring to the table, whereby we prove our value and relevance in the market and to the organization and to whatever projects that we go do. Also, we should start thinking whatever we do in our organizational life or professional life, we should start thinking it, had this been our organization of our own, how would we react to things, right? Or forget about organization. See, take it try to apply that into a lens of our personal life as well. We go for purchasing a car. We do all our researches, right? We do not go that, okay, somebody is selling something with a wow factor and the way he talks, I'll go and purchase it from that organization or that company or the vendor. I would still be want to be satisfied as to what my needs are, and then apply that lens and then go and purchase a car, right? Similarly, an organization would also see it from that perspective as to what their need of the hour is, and make the relevant call to see that, do I need to redefine this role to be called something else? Like off late with AI, right? The business analyst role or a product owner roles have now been changing to be called as AI product owners or AI business analysts, right? So what is that is being different? Am I having those differentiating factor in me? Then I am relevant. But if it didn't, how do I acquire those skills? How do I reskill it? How do I upscale it? Is something that we'll have to be asking these questions day in, day out to ourselves, so that we can be moving. Otherwise, we would be stuck in that emotional chain, and then we would be kind of becoming irrelevant.
Thank you so much, Manish, for bringing that perspective. I see even Shreya also lowered her hand. That means you might have covered even her thoughts as well.
Yeah. So it's like I just want to add one more line here then. It's all about the team perspective also. Sometimes it's require sometimes it's happened like team is working on some different dynamics, and due to some business requirement is changing, we have to like change some of the matrices. So according to the team business and everything will be collaborate in the one page. We have to figure out one working module. So yeah.
Thank you, Shreya. And this is one of the last question, but personally, I'm more curious to see what kind of conversation comes. So, India IT outsourcing, what's the future of Indian service-based companies over next 5 to 10 years? Floor is all yours. You can just pour your thoughts.
I will keep quiet.
No, for this question, for sure, we'll come back to you, Satish, but maybe at the end. And team, there is no right or wrong. It's like just a conversation.
Maybe if you want, I will stop the recording. Yes, Mandeep.
Yeah. So India IT outsourcing next 5 to 10 years. I would say, looking at the current perspective, right? I'm thinking, the way the service model has changed, right? We were into application delivery, right, where we focus on a solution. It isn't. It is a traditional way. I think we will more go towards the cloud. We call it digital. We call it consulting, right? So I would say this is where we will see the trend moving on with the Gen AI coming in, right? The roles, the models will change, right? There will be more, I would say, focused solutioning in place. There will be more AI products coming in place related to the domain, right? Like banking, healthcare, insurance, right? We will see those coming in place. Like, as we see the more uh, agentic AI is coming in place, the solutioning will happen, and obviously the delivery model, right? I would say the way we see, I'm not sure if you've heard, like we have near shore, right? We have onshore, offshore, and then we have near shore, right? So that is something that is to make sure the business continuity remains, right? So I'm saying in terms of the way we have gone past the COVID era, right? So we have gone from that era, and now we know that people can work from anywhere. I'm not saying home, I'm saying anywhere, right? So I think that is something that we know of, and people are now no, adopting to it. The companies are adopting to it, right? They are setting up the offices accordingly. The leases are accordingly taken care, right? So those are something that we will see that change will happen, right? And obviously the way the talent upskilling, I would say, right? We were talking about the same note, right? That since as you see the softwares are getting evolved, the human, the people need also to get evolved, right? They also have to understand. So there is upskilling that we need actually at across all the people layers, right? In terms of what not program that you have. So that is something that I am thinking will change. We will have, I think the AI ML is predominantly all across, right? At our college level, we see that AI ML is being taught as a course itself nowadays, right? So that is something that we see. The cyber security will come up, enhanced version with the AI coming into place. Obviously, the security measures has to be taken accordingly. The IP, the intellectual property related documentation or the laws should get more stricter. So this is again, I'm seeing on a perspective of how the things will change with these AI coming in place, with the way we are delivering application day models and all that. Okay, so I'm looking. This is my perception down the line, 5 years, I would say. Yeah.
It's a great
Thanks.
perception, as if like you have already predicted the future. Thank you, Mandeep. So I see
Yeah, I'm just.
Suganti raised
Yeah,
hand.
right. Yeah, yeah, sure.
Yeah, please go ahead, Suganti.
Yeah, very insightful, Mandeep. So recently, I had attended a meetup, and even we had, I think, from Agile Gurus, we had a session like last month. So with both of the meetups, what I came to conclusion was like I was able to meet up some industrial experts like CEOs, CTOs, and they had given some sessions how they were able to get the advantage leverage of AI within their companies. Some people have used AI for contracts, any wasteful contracts that they have, they had to revisit. It was just giving them in within few minutes. So they by that they were able to renew the contracts whichever were redundant. So this was how AI is taking over all over across the organizations in different ways. Some people use for like any other development in their uh, any other software development for the developers. Even Microsoft is going around organizations and giving knowledge about GitHub Copilot for development. And I have seen in my company also, they've some of the projects are asking to use GitHub. No, the client's requirement that you use GitHub Copilot so that they will finish the development sooner. But I don't see this in banking uh, developments. Okay, what I'm seeing for the e-commerce and other any other application based. And with the meetup where we went for a college, the academia people, they have started using Lovable and other. I think it's an agentic AI. I'm still not very having idea about this agentic AI and MCP models, no code and everything. But all these are taking over by storm. Like what was prompt engineering? How we were learning prompt engineering a year ago. I'm still with the prompt engineering, but they've started talking about concept AI, no context engineering, and now there is agentic AI and MCP models. Still yet to explore all that, but obviously, being with you guys, it's giving that idea what is happening around and that's what we are discussing. That this is actually mind blowing. Where even the younger generations are that just out of college are also there, so there is no developer tester concepts and we are scrum master, nothing, there's no concept, anybody can act as a scrum master with the role based, how we used to write like user stories, now we are using this copilot and every other prompts. uh, so it's evolving and we have to catch up there, and if you're not using the AI we will be left behind.
Thanks, Sukanti. So before Vardhan jumps in, so we, as part of Cognition 2025, we invited three of the teams who was part of the AI hackathon, AI Gati hackathon, and they showcased the demo of how they built the AI products different real life use cases. One is for the asthma, one is for the scrap management, and other is for the kisan, the farmers, helping the farmers. So if we are the employees or we are the individuals who has to lead this young generation coming up, if they start talking about this agentic AI and all these things, if we are clueless, do they even listen to us? Do they even come to us? So that's what our point is like. We don't need to know each and everything in detail or the hands-on implementation of everything, but at least having that understanding the basics is what really going to help each and everyone for sure. So make sure we go through that. There are lots of free conferences, free webinars, free sessions that are happening. Just before the session, I came across like Amazon is doing a Amazon AWS some webinar or the session. I will share the link with the groups so that it is a free, right? So we will share that details. Register, make use of it, and the same way Microsoft is also doing. Like every other company, they are trying to build the user base with the knowledge, with the information, whatever possible from their side by giving the free sessions. So make use of it and go to that. And the other day is having a conversation with one of the our community member. They're telling like his son is in 8th grade and they're part of a hackathon where the 8th grader, 8th class student is supposed to build a AI agent and showcase the demo as part of the hackathon at the school, not even the college, right? So the schools and colleges itself, they started bringing up these things at that level itself. So it's time for us to get ready, get started with this, if in case we are still at step 1 or step 0. Vardhan, over to you.
Yeah,
And
that's right said. Right. So,
sorry, hello.
Sharaf, let me complete. I think you can just jump in after that.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. So, right now, as far as I look at it, I believe there is a lot of confusion. Because of AI coming in, there is a lot of confusion across the industry. The organizations themselves are not very clear as to what should they do with each of these roles, because AI is evolving in every area, every aspect, every area, right? So let's say Scrum Master, they don't know what to do with the Scrum Master because AI will do it for. So project manager, the AI will do it for me. What will I do with the project? So they cannot throw everybody out, right? But then the consolidation is happening. A lot of people are being moved out, and new roles are coming up. Something of that sort is happening. So I think in the next 5 years, I think we will know what roles are. We will come to know what roles are really required by the organizations or to go into the next thing. Today, I had a chance to get into the PMI Bangalore chapter's annual meet. There was one person, his name is also Satish, Sai Satish. So he mentioned one point, right? So as far as management is concerned, it's right now we are project managers are managing a lot of people and the project actually. So in the future, upcoming future, you would be managing the agents. So there will be, instead of people, you will be managing agents as well. There will be 2 or 3 people, and then there will be like 5 or 10 agents instead of people. So it will not be like, AI replaces everything. You will be reviewing on top of the AI, like as a manager, you might be sitting on top of it. And once AI gives something as an output, you will be sitting and reviewing with the team and finalizing what should be done. That is where I see we are heading very soon.
In the same context, I created this using an AI tool. Like he's a manager or the leader or what are the thing? So he's a team, including AI as a team member. It's the image created by Gemini. So for one of the conference submission, I created this image. As a leader, it's not just handling the team. You may have to even handle or take care of the agents or whatever the role. It could be the chatbot, or it could be the AI agent, or it could be whatever the context coming into things. So how we handle that human intelligence versus emotional intelligence versus the artificial intelligence. So as a leader, it is our role to tackle or handle all these things. Right? It's no more team alone. We need to even understand. So if I'm the leader, if I don't know what is that the team member is doing, how can I handle the team member? Now AI is going to be my team member. So how can I handle the AI as a team member without me knowing what is that AI is doing, or how is AI going to help us as a team, as an organization? That's what we all need to start learning or expanding ourselves.
Thank you, Vardhan and Satish. Any last minute thoughts from anyone? In case if you're feeling like sharing and something is blocking you to share, this is your last chance. Okay, so then thank you so much, everyone. It's actually a great conversation today. So maybe we'll look forward for our next session, but we request your feedback as well. So Satish has already shared that link in the chat. So take just few minutes of time and give your valuable feedback. And Satish, I see we have scheduled this call for 1.5 hours, but I am seeing 20 to 21 people still on the call till 10 o'clock. Maybe we'll have to block it for 2 hours based on the questions and discussion. We can wind up early.
Sure thing. And this is the feedback which we captured till now. Thanks. This session is meant for all of us. Yes, thanks for your active participation and making sure like having that extended discussion. We know whenever we have these lean coffee sessions, it will go beyond the scheduled time. That's the reason we schedule only for 1.5 hours, so that it will go till 2 hours. Yes. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Thank you,
Thanks.
everyone.
Thanks,
Happy to
everyone.
connect.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Nirmala.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.